Elements by Rejects on AO3. Chapter 8, Chapter 7. SNet News. Elements to continue activities without member Bakugou. After the sudden hospitalization of Elements Bakugou Katsuki and official statement from UA Entertainment, it has been announced that the recently debuted group Elements will be resuming their activities without Bakugou. According to Todoroki, leader of Elements, he is doing all right, but he is too physically unwell to take part of activities. He will be back before we know it, so please don't worry. Comments on Elements to continue activities. Best voted. Really sucks. Hope he feels better soon. Best voted. They just debuted, and this happens? I feel terrible for him. Does that auntie feel any guilt about this? I would press charges. Response to Does that auntie? Did they reveal for sure it was an auntie? Response to Did they reveal? Someone poisoned him on purpose. I'm pretty sure it was an auntie. Response to Someone poisoned him. I can't believe anyone would ever think about doing that. LMAO, I wonder how many people who'd usually say he deserved it are saying it now. The cops are watching you. I am so angry that people who aren't afraid to hurt others like that exist. Response to I am so angry. I'm shocked and betrayed. Chiper. Number 1 Katsuki ever. At Katsuki _the _immortal. At elements _UA. Can one of you bring me a smoothie later? Midoriya Izu. At Midori715. At Katsuki _the _immortal. None of us run the official account. You can't just ask for a smoothie. Number 1 Katsuki ever. At Katsuki _the _immortal. At Midori715. Still got your attention, didn't I? Izuku sighed, unable to believe he was spending the break in his schedule bringing Kachan's heart's greatest desire, at the moment as the doctor said he shouldn't have coffee. When he walked into the living room, smoothie in one hand and a bag of convenience store food, for himself, in the other, Kachan looked over from the couch. You actually did it. And you thought I wouldn't? You never cease to surprise me, Decker. His tone was light and teasing. Right. Izuku sat with him, handing him his smoothie. Enjoy, Katan. Kachan stuttered and shoved him, looking back at the TV. Watching our show. The recent one, yeah. The blonde sipped his smoothie, hand drifting to the remote to change the channel, but stopped to rant. I don't know why people find this shit so interesting. A lot of it is exaggerated anyways. Aww, you don't like that they make you and Ijiro out to be inseparable besties who help each other out so much pre-debut that you know everything about each other. Wait, they said that? Previous episode. Kachan groaned. Half of the time I have no idea what's going on in his head. He did help me out though. So they got one thing right. And the bestie bit? Izuku laughed when Kanchan grew flustered. It's not as wishy-washy as they're making it sound. The blonde grumbles. Now shut up and eat. It smells awesome, and I'll take it if you don't. You can't even have this. I know, and I hate it. The hour spent discussing every exaggerated thing happening during the reality show, and Izuku grabbed his backpack to head back out. Kachan stopped him. Deku. Yeah? Be safe. Izuku smiled. I'm more worried about you, you know? Izuku had a bad case of Kachan brain, spending most of the walk to the station just thinking about him. Aside from the flips his stomach did every time the man just so much as breathed in his direction, and he did find himself realizing he was too embarrassed to admit it. He told himself Kachan would be on anyone's mind after the poisoning ordeal. His mind was so clouded by thoughts that he almost missed the mugging that happened right in front of him. Help! Thief! He heard a shriek before seeing a girl get pushed to the ground. The mugger, more muscular than anyone Izuku should ever go up against, took off with her bag. Snapping out of his thoughts, Izuku spotted the mugger before the large man shoved him out of the way. Without a second thought, Izuku swiftly regained his bearings and chased him. The man was surprisingly slower than he expected, as he easily caught up and leaped, tackling him to the ground. Izuku realized he should have planned this better after the man elbowed him in the nose. Adrenaline overrides the pain as he struggles to get the bag back, and it wasn't long before help arrived to the scene, and the mugger is detained. Izuku caught his breath, turning to return the bag. "Thank you so much." Upon seeing her face, his heart rate does the opposite of what he wants and increases. The girl from the restaurant, the night of the showcase, smiled wide at him. "You're my hero, Midoriya-chan." Just doing what was right. Izuku smiled politely as she took the bag. She pouted as she clutched it. "You got hurt because of that big oof." The man didn't have time to think twice as she swept her thumb right under his nose, and he backed away, pulling out the handkerchief to cover his nose. "I'll be fine, don't worry." His discomfort soared when he noticed the girl didn't clean the blood off her hand. He needed to leave. "Sorry, I have an appointment." He apologized and rushed for the station, ignoring the calls from the police on the scene. He felt her eyes digging into his back until he disappeared through the ticket gates. If he had looked back, he would have seen her lick her thumb. Most discussed articles today. 1. Video. Element Izuku takes down dangerous mugger and leaves. 2. Ida Tensei, to retire from a role of beloved Ingenium, passes torch to younger brother Tenya. 3. I knew him as a trainee. Monoma Neto is absolutely beyond shocked by Element's Bakugou's hospitalization. 4. Pussycat's ex-member Ragdoll opens up about health, will return to action in the future. 5. Big 3 Harus talks about the hiatus scandal in their upcoming year. 6. Big 3 is star in their own musical rendition of All Might, Symbol of Peace. 7. Element Shoto discusses father and role of Avatar. I relate to Suku. 8. Todoroki Enji. I'll wait for my son to make the right decision. 9. Fashion designer Bakugou Mitsuki and Masaru want justice for their son. 10. Top 10 famous idols as babies and what they're doing now. Aizawa meets him at the interview 20 minutes later and shows him his phone. Izuku squints to get a better view at the video, taking up only a third of the top of the screen. But the title, Izuku Midoriya is a hero, caught his eye. What is this now? Looks like you caught a thief and got bashed up, is what it is. The manager said, coolly, as Izuku watched the video. Someone had taken the video from across the street, and their exclamations of awe filled him with pride as someone else, close by hand, called for help. He only got my nose, and I bled for a while, but I'm fine now. The younger man tenses at the look he receives. You're a good kid, Izuku, but your appearance plays a big part in your job. Aizawa puts his phone away, pulling him into the restroom to clean up the blood Izuku missed with his handkerchief, and checked over his nose. He sighed deeply, looking over his shirt, to which Izuku responded by pulling a clean shot of his backpack. People are calling you a good-hearted hero, the manager stated. You're getting good publicity, but if that guy had bruised you up more, you'd be out of commission like Katsuki. Be more careful. Yes, Dad, Izuku responded. Glare. Sorry. They both know he wasn't. Throughout the interview, Aizawa stood out of the way and watched. Izuku found it hard to focus the moment he caught the manager getting a phone call and leaving the room. He pushed through the interview regardless. Aizawa returned when the interview is over, and Izuku grabbed his backpack. You're driving back with me. Aizawa swiftly walked out, forcing the idol to jog for a moment to catch up for marching places with him. Did something happen? Looks like Katsuki got a surprise visit from you. Me? What? Me? Ignored, Izuku kept silent during the drive back. What happened to Kachan? Seeing the police at their dorm was a reality that Izuku didn't want to get used to. He felt additionally self-conscious seeing people in the area trying to see what went on. He followed Aizawa inside, hearing Kachan's already worn voice, accompanied by Denki's shaky one, as they talked to the police. The living room was trashed with things knocked off shelves, and a blood stain setting onto the couch. As they come in, Kachan's eyes met Izuku's for a moment before the blonde looked elsewhere, continuing to answer questions from the police. Izuku noticed a bandage wrapped around his arm, and Denki also seemed to have received a few minor scratches on his arm and face, but nothing too major. He walked over to the two as Aizawa took his turn to speaking with the police. "Are you guys okay? What happened?" "Izuku." Denki looked rattled. "It was terrifying. I came in and she was like strangling him and going at him with a needle and..." Izuku paled. "Who's she?" "Someone who was pretending to be you." Kachan rubbed at his bruised throat, finally meeting his eyes. "She had a transformation quirk and tricked me into letting her in by pretending to be you." "There's someone who'd actually..." "She said she forgot her key, and I let her in." The blonde paused, choosing his words carefully. "Then she had me pinned and stabbed me with a huge-ass needle." Kachan gestured to his arm with his chin. "Literally, it was the worst." Izuku nearly fainted, hearing about the needle, and leaned on Denki for support. "So that hurt like a bitch. But then she started strangling me." Kachan went on. "She kept screaming to me, 'Die, scum.' And then at some point she stopped looking like you." "That's when I got back," Denki cut in. "I panicked and threw her off Katsu. But she was a girl, so I felt really bad. But then she attacked me, and then I knocked her ass out, and we called the cops. There were more police here, but the ones that left took her." Denki breathed out, with one hand on his chest. "I was beyond terrified. She seriously wanted to kill us." "What did she look like?" Izuku didn't know if the info would matter to him, one way or another. But the sick feeling in his gut wants this to be settled. "Blonde," Kachan explained, and as he went on, the sick feeling grew worse. "Buns on the side of her head, cardigan." Izuku did his best to steady his breathing as he sunk to the floor, and his bandmates knelt beside him. "That was most likely the fan I met at the showcase," he said after a moment. "I saw her again today." The policeman walked over with Aizawa in tow. "Sorry to interrupt, but did you say you've met her before?" "Yeah." Izuku didn't realize how badly he was shaking as he described his encounters with the girl, until Kachan placed a hand over his clenched fist, and he calmed down. He told them about the night of the showcase, when she returned his phone, then began telling him about the encounters that involved the mugger. And then... Izuku remembered the video that somehow went viral that fast, and got out his phone, pulling it up, with the main focus on him and the mugger, who the policeman recognized as the guy who was brought in. Izuku was grateful that the person continued to film until he ran off. "That's a lot of blood. Are you sure you're okay, dude?" Denki worriedly looked away from the screen to eye Izuku's nose. "I'm fine, just sore, but there." He swallowed as they all keened in on the girl. "That's definitely her," Kachan murmured. The recording didn't stop until after Izuku disappeared into the station. With how shaky the recording was by the end of the video, no one would have thought twice about the girl. However, with all their focus on her, they noticed one specific detail. She licked your nose blood." Denki covered his mouth. Izuku didn't know if he should be feeling violated, but he did. Kachan placed a hand over his bandaged arm, frowning. "If that's how she transforms, then she might have had a plan after she killed me." Trending now, idol attacker finally arrested. Doga Himiko, 17, has been detained after being caught attacking rookie boy band elements Bakugou in the group dorms. Toga, who formerly attended X, had been known amongst her family and classmates for her obsessive behavior. Toga has admitted to all knowing idol attacks, as well as attacks not related to the idol attacker. She also has a history of bribing criminals, such as infamous mugger Elements Midoriya stopped in the rapid viral video. The police have also seized her phone, email, and any social media account she owns. Several Kaibi blogs flagged many of her entries, having believed she was simply a stalker who followed the news and just wanted attention. She has also admitted to being responsible for the very incident that hospitalized previously mentioned Bakugou. The staff members in custody had been dropped of all charges, while Toga will be filed against by the Bakugou family. It is not known if her previous victims will also take part in the filing lawsuit. The idol attacker has been well known for over the past year for attacking and hospitalizing male idols, but has revealed to have hospitalized females as well, under different gushes. Comments. What a relief. Has she even gotten help at all? Or did her family just ignore her? Is she going to get help after this? How did she go this long without getting caught? Why would anyone do such a thing? Why Bakugou? Why did she want to do all of that? I get that she's got an obsessive personality, but that doesn't explain anything here. Response to, why would anyone? Because yandere? Response to, because yandere. No, but was she obsessed with Bakugou or someone else? What? Response to, was she obsessed? Does it even matter? She was caught. Don't overthink it. Response to, does it even? Every little thing matters in this case, because there are people out there who are just like her and aren't afraid of hurting others for the sake of their obsessions. I expected someone like her was the culprit in all these attacks. Young people are too wild these days. Response to, I'm not surprised. Would you like some avocado with your toast? Snappygram, Midori715. Image of his silhouette holding up a peace sign. Comments. Katsuki 00. I'm glad you're you. End chapter 7. Okay, wow. Okay, so Toga's in police custody now. So I wonder, are we gonna see more of her? Is she going to escape? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, I wonder what's gonna happen with that. Like, is she gonna escape? And then, because she does have Bakugou's blood, right? She does have Bakugou's blood. So I'm a little concerned. Is she going to escape and then pose to be Bakugou and do something to Izuku? Will this now go towards... okay, so I have a prediction. It's going to gear towards Izuku and Bakugou's relationship, and we're going to see a lot more of that developing. They're going to get together, and then Toga's escape. And then there's going to be a moment where Izuku thinks he's talking to Kachan, but it's not Kachan. And then when, you know, everything goes down, Izuku's gonna be like, oh, you're not Kachan, and then it's, you know, downhill. I think Izuku's gonna notice immediately, because Izuku seems to have this, like, sense of, like, a gut feeling, even when she is disguised as someone else. So I feel like Izuku's gonna know, but I don't know. I just don't think this is gonna be the last thing we see of Toga, or maybe it is, and maybe I'm paranoid, and maybe I've just been reading a little bit too much of angsty writers who love to lure you into a sense of security. Just know, though, if you feel secure, like, oh, Toga's gone, everything's fine, don't. Us authors are cruel, vicious creatures. Cruel, vicious creatures. Sorry to hear that. That was my brother. Cruel, vicious creatures. So, just saying, if you think you are safe, you think, oh, everything's fine, everything's dandy. The person who was stalking Izuku Toga is in... Izuku Toga? Oh my god. Izuku Toga is, you know, in jail, in custody, and, you know, Bakugou and Izuku are all happily and happy. Don't. I don't. It might be me being paranoid, but I would rather be safe than sorry. I will never be lured into a sense of security ever again. Fool me once. You know, I forgot the saying. Fool me twice. Again, I forgot the saying. Fool me 3 times, it's on me. But yeah, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.